Day, like 6:30, so I'm still kind of half awake, or half asleep, I should say. I also have a very scratchy throat, so I'm sucking on a cough drop. Hopefully that won't cause me to go into a coughing fit on air. Um, One of the reasons I'm streaming so early today is because there is expected to be some maintenance um, on my uh, internet provider. The service is going under some, I don't know what they're doing, but we may have intermittent connection issues starting in a few hours. So, and it's going to last most of the morning. So I figured I would get started now and kind of avoid that whole issue. So if while we're in this, I suddenly go boop, gone, bye bye, that would be why. Um, Today we're going to do our first introduction to my guildmates plot, The Sanctuary, owned by Silverthorn. And if you notice, the title of this particular stream is Project Silverthorn Part 1 in the beginning. As I mentioned last week, I've kind of opened up the doors to my guildmates to say, hey, if you don't have time to build yourself something and you want a little addition to your home that's custom and unique, hey gamer, then I'm offering up my time and my kookiness uh, uh, at your disposal. I'm doing this basically free of charge. If it's a situation where they want specific expensive decor or decor that's kind of hard to obtain, then we have an agreement that we will work the prices out in that way. But generally speaking, I just kind of craft and hunt out whatever I need, or use whatever they happen to have in their inventory, or crate, I should. Um, this particular project is a little bigger than what I was really planning on offering to do. I was thinking more like smaller projects, like if someone wants a barn or remodeling their bathroom or some such. Yeah, some of the houses are pretty big, gamer. Um, anyway, but this one, Thovan's asked me to do the entire plot completely from scratch. He just created everything last week and said, here you go, here's an empty canvas. I have some ideas of what I'd like to see, some elements, and things like that, but he's pretty much left it, up in the air. So, on that note, and since it is for somebody else and not myself, if it's my own full plot project, I wouldn't mind just keeping every bit of building for the stream itself. But since I only stream for like 1 to 2 hours uh, each day on the weekdays, that kind of restricts how much time I spend on the plot actually building. And I don't want to do that for someone else's place. So there's going to be a lot of things that I will do offline that I will just recap when I hop onto the stream, and then we'll do a little building on the stream. So that's kind of what happened here. I actually started this, I guess it was Thursday or Friday of last week. And like I said, he basically created everything. So this is just a from scratch. You'll see that I've kind of, since this isn't my build, usually when I do a full plot build, I do months of research prior to the fact of actually starting to lay down the first objects. And so I spend months looking up images and dreaming and daydreaming about little bits here and there. I didn't have that luxury with this. This I was just kind of said, thrown into it. He has given me a lot of images to reference. Um, and we had a good almost an hour-long discussion of some of the things that concepts he was interested in having and things like that. But So I'm kind of just winging a lot of it. And what that has led to is I will work a little bit here, and then I'll go inside the bunker house and work a little bit there, and I'll come back out and I'll work on something else. So there's a lot of incompleteness. There's no, complete anything yet. So as you can see, we have this kind of really lush, already kind of garden foresty area. Uh, the concept I'm going for here is I like a dramatic entrance, like a reveal kind of thing. And it's kind of like this. I like the main focal point being framed in the kind of like in a picture frame here. And the concept he wanted here was he's inspired by some very ornate architecture. He showed me some pictures of some forest churches and things like that. And so I'm trying to add some of those elements or that feel to this. But the concept I'm going with is his character's an Orin, and he wants there to be a lab. His character, the path is scientist. So he wants a lab, but he wanted to kind of stick as close to the Orinish feel as he could. So I figured, well, you have all these little secret labs, and there's like tunnels and little, you know, pipes and lots of metal bits. I wanted to keep it as natural as possible, so I've decided to go with like a hidden clearing with a pond, and inside the pond, below the pond, is where his secret lab is. And the way I've done that is I've tried to start this white tree. Since we don't have any white trees, I'm having to build it from scratch using white picket fence posts. And you can see I've already gotten a good idea of how it's going to start fleshing out. I'm hoping to build it up to about yay big, and then filling it in with foliage, bring it in, and then to kind of it sits atop the bunker house, so to kind of give a hint to visitors as to where to go to get in. It will have one flower that has fallen down, and that will indicate the entrance here. As you can see, while we have the blue pond and then we have the blue part of the hatch door, it's a different blue, but and a lot of people may come in and not even realize that it's here, but for those that know these kind of houses and the secrets that they often hold, they will be hopefully drawn to this. Anyway, for the structures, the ornate structures that he wanted, I've decided to go with a glass bridge and walkway to kind of lead you to this main focal point, the tree. And then I'm just using various stones and other materials like the thinker head to kind of fill in around it, because I want it to feel enclosed, like it's not exactly just out in the open, just kind of like a private hollow, whatever you want to call it. So you can see I've started laying in a lot of the border rocks and grasses and stuff, just kind of getting a shape in mind. You see I've still got some that's got gaps, and I think I'm not even at 200 decor so far. Yeah, it's 140, so there's like plenty of room to get really into the details. The main thing I'm going to be focusing on, though, is the tree. I'm still not sure how I'm going to pull it completely off, but hopefully it is coming along nicely so far. And, of course, I had to add in the rocks to help cover up all of the metal bits of the hatch door. Because, like I said, I wanted to keep it as natural and graceful, I guess would be the way to say it. Even with the metal and glass here, it's still, I've tried to incorporate curves and circles and kept it as graceful as I could, to kind of go along with the ore and stuff, not having like, you know, a lot of metal bits and like Chua architecture, that kind of stuff. So here you can see a little bit more of the tree up close. Obviously the stairs are not part of the build. These are just to help me kind of get a better look at what the heck I'm doing up here. I've had them moved a little off. I had them a lot closer because, you know, when you get in there, these fence posts have little round nubbins on the end, and as you're shaping the limbs, they can poke out in places you don't want to, so you have to kind of be able to see all the way around easily. And again, we don't have the floating camera ability to where we can, you know, go wherever we want and any height and everything. So we have to use boxes or stairs to do that. So that's the outside, just kind of general. I'm planning to kind of contain the water a little better. I'm looking to aim at hiding the seam here. For those curious, this is a glowing space suite decor. It is turned upside down and enlarged, supersized. In fact, I'm not even sure what size that is. I know it's pretty big. Yeah, it's at 140 right now. So if a neighbor floating in the air somewhere around this plot was to look around, there's probably like giant space suite bits poking out the bottom of the plot. But and that's why there's the seam here. It's not a perfectly flat item. It's kind of rounded on the bottom, and I did my best to get as much flatness as I could, but I did end up with a seam bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this up with rocks and things to kind of block that out. That way we just have this little pond area. For the glowy effects, again, that's the medical cot hovering. I've only got about, I think it's 4 or 5 of them out here. I will probably be looking to add a few more. Like I can see one needs to be about here and probably here and maybe over there. But those will get added as I go. Again, I kind of jump around. I'll do a little bit here and then I'll come back over here and kind of skip a doodle. As you can see, I'm adding in the legs or the framework for the glass structure itself. I started out with a lot bigger pillars, but they looked a little too hunky. So I decided to go a little finer. I just decided to make the pillars approximately the same width as the borders of the glass itself. And I didn't really like specifically pick a particular type of border. I just used the glass he already had in his inventory. And it just so happened that it pretty much blends with the pillars that I was using. So the idea is I probably will add some diagonal bits as well to kind of really jazz up the bridge here. And then all around the edge it'll just be the straight pillars sunk into the water. I'm still not quite sure what all I'm maybe adding to this. I did start playing around with some extra bits on the side. I don't know if maybe I have like a few little dock areas where maybe some seats could be installed or something. I'm still deciding on that. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, let's see. I think that's about it on the outside that we have done so far. Let's take a look inside. Inside, before we go take a look, I'll try and explain what exactly he's wanting. He wants the main focus of the bunker house to be the lab, but he doesn't want complete mechanical, cold, sterile type of lab. He wants something that still reflects the Orin kind of theme look. It's also to include parts of his home living, like a bedroom, a library, probably a small kitchen, things like that. He did say that I could represent certain rooms that maybe I don't want to get into building, like a bathroom, that I could just put like a faux door to represent that room that's elsewhere that we don't actually see. He's mostly going for the Ichthian look as far as the lab equipment or the bits and baubles that go there. And he's also very adamant about water features. He wants like aquariums and tanks and all kinds of little things. And that was one of the reasons why I went with the pond up above. I thought it would be kind of interesting if he's got a lab underneath the pond, then maybe that's his water source where his the water is fed into his lab, and that's how he has all of these water bits, you know, things like that. We talked about a lot of ideas of how I could incorporate that into the area down here, and I'm still playing around with how to put that in, but for now I've mostly been working on just the main layout of the building, and I opted to use these lovely hover park pieces. I haven't used them really in any kind of building, even on small projects, simply for the fact that there are so many of them and there are so many shapes and ways that you can combine those shapes. I guess I felt overwhelmed with trying to mishmash them together to make something look nifty, but I've seen enough other builders using them in their builds in interesting ways, and I finally said, you know, I'm going to take this opportunity to try that out. So you'll see that as a predominant building block, the hover park pieces. I'm changing the shape of the room to be more rounded. Again, I'm trying to keep as much to the kind of curviness and organic feel of the Oran culture, I guess, and knocking out as much of the corners and stuff as I can. And it's not like I'm going to have complete no edges or anything like that, but I'm looking to box it in and really just kind of keep it more soft. Soft is a word for it. So he'd show me some pictures of some library rooms that he liked, and he liked the like grand staircase. And I've kind of cheated with that. I've seen similar kind of approaches with walkways before with these slanted bits, and I thought I'm going to use that for sure. Flashy gizmos going on. Try and fix that. So I decided I was going to do that. So this circular area here, that's going to be his main lab area. And again, usually this has a square area up top, and I've just used domes to kind of soften that up with a lot of circles and curved lines. That does kind of creep in on space, but it's not too bad. I'm only going for 2 levels, an upper and a lower level, so I'm not dividing it up into 3 sections and making it really confined, but I'm hoping to get as much space as I can here and a lot of different kinds of rooms. I'm anticipating that probably his library and stuff will be up here, because I figured if he's got a lot of research books and things like that, then that would be, you know, you want to have it in close proximity to his actual lab. So a lot of the mechanical bits will be down here, but up here will be probably, you know, some of his little study, you know, special study areas, like if he's got a terrarium or an aquarium, that kind of thing. I'm also contemplating adding little tanks from the ceiling, basically like glimpses to the pond above. And then over on this side will be more of his living area, like bedroom, kitchen, maybe a little dining room, that kind of thing. So when I essentially started piddling around down here, I was really just kind of experimenting with shapes and how I could add in as much curving as I could, and I really didn't plan on leaving this like this, but Thove came down and had a look, and he's absolutely just fallen in love with what it looks like down here, so I'm gonna stick with it and just expand on it, on that idea. You'll notice back here I've played around with the concept of having inset whoops, I'm gonna have to fix that. Aquariums into the wall. I had thought that I would probably try and do several of these, but I don't know if I'm gonna have the exact space that I'm wanting for that. Let's try it this way. It almost looks like a washing machine, but eventually I'm going to add in, you know, stones and greenery and little plushy fish things and stuff like that, depending on what he's got available. Probably will try and add a few on this side as well. And again, like I said, I'm thinking of having some types of tanks from the ceiling too, because like I said, he wants as much water as I can kind of sneak in, the better. Like I could see about adding other tanks, but have them actually built out instead of set inside the wall. Let's see. Best way, I guess, to do this would be find the wall. Weird, it's not showing that one as being selected. How strange is that? Oh, I'll probably have to remove the glass. I got 3 layers of glass here because I kind of wanted to really show that there's some water inside, and since there's no way yet that I've set up any kind of movement and stuff, it's kind of hard to tell. If I can get that to select at all. Oh, okay, that's just part of the wall itself. So what I'll do is I'll add in a worn wall. Well, I better not do that because it'll probably go underneath. Let's just do it from here. Again, sorry if my munching on the cough drop is being picked up by the microphone, but I'm just having a bad day of it today. We did a lot of work outside. I've been doing some actual in real life housing projects, so it's been kind of wearing and tearing on me. Nature does not like me, and I don't like nature, so you know, allergy stuff has been kind of off the charts, and yeah, I'd hoped to use just the wall itself as the backing, but because I keep adding pieces like this into it, it makes it awkward. Let's try this. Maybe I need to move it up. That will work. Yeah, see, there we go. Okay. Let's see. I did notice that there was one bit up here that's a little off. There's a little bit of a gap here. So I'm going to see if I can kind of move that in. The only thing I really hate about these bits is the controllers show up at the weirdest places. Half the time they're like super tiny and way off, and makes it hard to see what the heck you're doing. And it's worse if you're using really enlarged pieces, like on the surface. I was having a hard time spotting them because so teeny tiny, and you got this huge item, and you have to really back off of the item so you can, you know, not have it wig out on you, but then you can't see the little teeny tiny controllers. I was experimenting with a little bit of furniture here. I thought the curved dome chair might be kind of interesting. Not really particularly fond of the cushions for it, but since we don't have any like curved cushion bits, I don't know if that's going to be something I can fix a little differently. But I like the idea of it. I will probably use it a few places. And of course, I just played around with trying to do something grand and bold, but also keep it kind of low-key as well. A hard thing to do, gotta say. So I guess what we'll work on right now is finishing off enclosing the wall, the room, in this curved, these curved bits. And basically all I'm doing is it's the curved full pipe large pieces. And the only thing, like I said, kind of difficult with these is when I use Katia's add-on here, do the copy clone. Usually when I copy one of these pieces, it clones it behind it and inside the wall. And of course, when I typically copy clone something, it doesn't give me the little controller bars automatically. So it's like I lose the piece and then I have to hunt it through the list. So what we're going to do this time is just get the piece itself. Curved full pipe large, and you'll see that it's actually a hollow piece, and I've just hidden all the bits that I don't want seen. It's like I said, I'm mostly interested in the shape that it has, and not necessarily using it in the way that it was actually intended. So now, again, something you have to pay attention to is the bits down here, they're all 97. I think I'm going to have to rescale these as well, kind of better match the sizing so that I don't have the lines lining up wrong. But the ones on the bottom, they're at 97, yet the ones at the top are a little bit bigger. And the reason for that is the curve. You know, the inner curve is always going to be smaller than the outer one, and I had to enlarge these on the very borders of the room to a bigger size to accommodate the curve so that it matched up better. So again, keep that in mind. Excuse me, crunching on my cough drop there. I have to finish off the last bit or I'll slice my tongue up with the little sliver that's in there. So I'm trying to decide, I don't mind how this looks right here, and I don't really see a big difference in here because I've made sure that the line is pretty much lined up with the one on the other side. So I think it's just easier if I just leave it at the 142 size. Excuse me. Let's see, what's height on this? Again, as I said, even though we kind of went over with him what all he was looking for as far as some of the themes, I'm pretty much just winging a lot of this because you know, I haven't had the chance to daydream about this particular build. I haven't had the opportunity to Google up any pictures on my own, or was even picturing this at all. You know, I think I've never done a lab at all. The closest might have been the winter toy shop that I did once, where I had like a place where they were putting things together and had some mechanical bits that I did with that, but never really strictly a lab because there's quite a bit of labs already, so I just kind of steered clear of it. But that's what he wants, so that's what I'm going to try and so. Again, I just eyeball a lot of stuff. It's probably not, you know, exact or anything like that. Just deciding on how wide I want that. I want it to just butt up against it, or it could be completely shut in there. I guess we want to do it shut in because that gives him more space. Do it like this. And then of course we'll just fill in the gaps here like we did on this side. The main thing is just getting all of these pieces to line up like we did. Now for the straight edges, I've been using the long slanted edge medium, and I'll show you why I'm using that. Oh, for whatever reason, these have been kind of tough to. Oops. Tough to select in here. Not exactly sure why, but as you can see, it's kind of it doesn't have a lot of bits that I'm having to hide, especially since I'm sinking them most of the time into the wall itself. And again, I'm keeping with the angle. You know, I don't have some stripes going this way and some boards going that way. Same here, even though I used Exile floors here, which is a different material than this, really, specifically so I have the window cut out. I kept with the vertical lines there. Otherwise, I probably would have opted to have this this part here on the bottom. But if I did that, then it would be a vertical, a horizontal line, and I think it would clash more with this. So it doesn't stick out as much. Like I said, it kind of looks like a washing machine right now, but later I'll fix it up and try to make it more like an aquarium. So I've just been using these pieces to fill in the gaps that the curved parts don't quite reach. And we'll use this as a guide as far as the depth of how this one needs to be meeting up with this one over here. Like so. Trying to get the one that's behind it and underneath there. Not easy to do. Move it quite a bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get this center line to match with here. There we go. Again, this is just a lot of me tinkering with bits and bobbles. This is the first time I've tried to, well, it's really hard to get the angle right. See the controllers. Tried this. Okay, so there's that, and then we pull this one back out, try and get it to line up. And then if we've done it pretty close to okay, when we start matching these pieces up over here, they will be in alignment. And if not, then we'll just cry and pull our hair out and try it again. Do little adjustments until they do line up. I really had a hard time with this area over here because I needed to be able to leave a doorway. I didn't actually want to put a door in, I just wanted to have the hallway there. The only thing that I don't like is this here still sticking out, but it's part of the wall bit. But I'll eventually box this all in right here so that you don't see any of the blue wall and the trim. Probably could have left it, but no, I'm being picky about that. In addition, here where you've got the little bits of stairs still showing, they will probably be covered up with something else. I don't know exactly what, but yeah, I've basically just redoing the whole structure of the interior first, and then I'll start adding in furniture. Like I said, I can't help but get distracted about thinking about the furniture and think, oh, let me see if I can put that together, and then I'll get distracted by stuff. I'm like the little characters that talking, and it's like squirrel, and it's off to the side because I get really easily distracted. It's bad. Okay. Try this. Trying to get as much of this to come out as I can without it intruding too much over there. That's kind of alright. Maybe I need to turn the curve a little bit. that could be it. Because like I said, the more of these bits that I don't have showing, the more I like it. But it doesn't look like I'm going to get my wish on this part, because, yeah, rudely. Let's see. I messed this up now. No, we're still good. We're good. We're good. Okay, so now I need another piece up top. So we'll get another curved full pipe, large. And these always come in really big. And then we'll do the old-fashioned copy paste. And while it doesn't come in exactly, it's pretty close. All right. Wow, I didn't like copy any of it. It's bad. Got that. My lining up is poor. I think it is in place now. That looks all right. And then again, some more of these pieces here. The long slanted edge medium. I'll just grab a couple of them. You'll see some extra bits in the crate, and that's just me experimenting with different pieces. Again, this is one of the reasons why I'm not charging my guildmates for this, because a lot of it is just, I have no idea what I'm doing, so I will say, here, can you put this in your crate? I'm going to try it, and I might not even use it. I don't want to buy things with their money and then end up not using it, and them going, well, you know, why didn't you do that? I just prefer to do it at my own expense. But like I said, if it's something they specifically request, like say Sylvain really wanted a lot of those umbrella trees that are costing like 4 or 5 plat a piece right now, then I would probably say, well, you'll need to purchase those ahead of time on your own. I'm not going to put the bill on that, but other things like little 50 silver here, 50 silver there, if I just want to go nuts with it, then I don't want to, you know, burden them with the cost if I'm just out goofing around with it. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's probably why I will never do this for anyone other than my guildmate. I just don't want to get into that entanglement of me setting a price for it and saying, okay, I will make you this, and then it end up being where they don't actually like it. And then like say, you know, refund or something like that, I would feel really bad. Probably the biggest thing, and I wouldn't want to charge somebody for that. I think these were set at 133. So I may end up having to use 4 pieces, but we'll start off with the 1 and see where that gets us. Let's fix this so that it lines up with the center line here. Now, as far as lighting and music choice and all that, that's something he can change later. Once he sees how everything looks, he can decide if he wants to make the room darker and add more lamps or whatever. And that's something too, that anyone that takes me up on the offer of building something for them like this, they understand that, you know, if they decide they want to tear it down, completely redo it themselves, or just add things to it, you know, if later, you know, some new items come in and they want to include them in the build, they're more than welcome to do it. This is purely mostly for my own entertainment and practice. It's for their enjoyment as well, but it's not a requirement that they keep whatever I build for them forever. You know, it's not like I'm going to be devastated if I finish this build and the next day he creates everything. You know, that's his business, his plot, and most of it is his materials. I'm just delighted that someone will trust me with their plot. What was that? Slanted edge medium? Long slanted. Okay. We need 2 more pieces of that. And then I think most of the wall will be covered. I don't know why that comes in weirdly, but it does. Zoom in here better. I know it probably looks a little dark on the dark side, but I think it suits. Stove is kind of like a bachelor or whatever, and or at least his character is. And I don't know, it kind of suits like a guy's den. It's kind of dark and everything. I may add enough lighting where it brightens it up and it doesn't make it look as moody as it does kind of now, but we'll see. Alrighty, so now I have to decide how I'm going to handle the spacing here. Am I going to leave it, you know, I kind of want to do like an upper floor like this, But if I add in a lot of this part like I did here, that's really going to cut down on the space. I really want to leave this as open as possible, but since we don't have any actual flat rounds, it's going to be a little bit more difficult and still keep with the shapes that I'm looking for and the coloring as well. I know there's some windows like here, but I'm afraid the wood is going to be too light, but we will try it out. Yeah, I think it's going to be a whole different ball game. Of course, this one is green. That will look completely out of place. And he doesn't seem to have an orange one on hand to try out. Oh, wait. Bunch of them. So, wow, no. Right in my face. So, let's see. Yeah, this one, it has no non-colored side, so probably can't use that for what I'm thinking of. And this, if I recall, is not exactly straight. So last time I used it as like floors and stuff, it was like you have to tilt it this way and that just to get it to look flat. And also you'll have to contend with the thickness that it has as well. I don't think that's going to work like I want. So what we will do is try and think of something else. Let me see. If I just put some, let's see. Maybe there is a cover part piece that I can use. It's got a round something or other. Those look almost exactly the same. Sure, it's like different, but it looked the same. I know I've seen a few things that had like a round shape to it. Yeah, like this. Maybe I can use that. It does look exactly the same as well. So let me write the name of that down. Paper, paper, paper. That's a quarter outer ramp. Ledge. We'll see if there's anything else. Return. Maybe that. No. Looking for something round. Faithful pipe now. Pipe now. I want the thick. Weird piece. Probably gonna try the quarter one. Let's see, what is that? Quarter outer ramp. Yeah, I think that might suit our need. So let's just put one of those out. Where did that thing go? Oh, come on. Crazy thing. I really want to stick with the wood bits, but I want to add in an extra floor over there. So let's see. Let's straighten it up real quick. You hear some loud engine noises across the street. Farm, and they often have deliveries coming in. Now, I can do this one of two ways. Either I get my camera to quit acting up. I can either try and put this in and size it up enough where it has the upstairs and it still leaves a lot of room for the downstairs, or turn it around and have it fit the shape a little better. Still get the upstairs and have space downstairs, but it's more divided downstairs. You got like an inner hall here and the outer hall here. There's two ways of doing it. I think we will go with having an inner and a hallway here. I think that will be more interesting than the other way. Now the trick is that too wide. I'm going to measure it up if I can. My camera will quit wigging out. I guess it really doesn't matter. The more space I can get, the better, probably. The main concern would be following that curved shape. And of course, covering up this little ledge bit a little better. Just getting this, I don't like the metal ring here showing, so I'm just sizing it up to make it be out far enough there, but also have it hidden here. Little things like that that get kind of stuck on and start to obsess over, and then people wonder why. So still plenty of walking room around here in these little different areas.